Welcome back to Spirit Music Meetups. Mike Burris here. Wow, this dream has come a lot. So much darkness going on. July 19th, 2020. This is what the Lord showed me this before all the BLM, Antifa, and so much more that has happened since. So the Lord always shows his prophets ahead of time. I had a dream last night and a continuation of that dream in the morning after I was asking the Lord about the first dream, which was I saw an oil well spitting out very hot gases along with oil, and as I walked near the field where this was happening, the soles of my tennis shoes were starting to melt from the magma that was building up underneath. I had a great sense of urgency to get across that field because I knew the time was very short. Things were going to get very explosive. I woke up from this first dream with a great sense of urgency to get on with God's calling for my life, to clarify that, to pray, listen, watch, and write down what he has told me, and then start doing it. And so you can see that on my story page. And I journaled for a while, and then I went back back to sleep. In the second dream, I was told to run across the field fast and not to linger because there was no time left. As others were driving across that field, they were told to not stop and sightsee because their wheels would melt and they would be stuck in grave danger. I did some more journaling to ask about these dreams. The Lord told me at that time that time for Christians was short. In my dream, my journaling, he tells me things while I'm journeying, just asking, sitting there, watching him. And I was told that soon there would not be any light to see by because of explosions, disrupting the power source of their lighting there, of here. But then in a little while, there would be great light and everything would be just fine. But during this period of great darkness, that Christians would need to find faith to hold on. Yeah, they would. There's a darkness coming. And it wasn't just the darkness that Biden was pronouncing over the world, declaring over the United States, oh, there's a dark winter coming. Boy, it was part of it. But, the gas stopped. The gas stopped. He stopped the gas. And look what we're suffering horribly. We need to find faith to hold on and pray for survival, to fight the good fight of faith in the heavenly realms, and to get on about our Father's business. We have a mission during the darkness that is coming. We need to press in to hear from the Lord and obey. Now, a lot of this is already starting to happen. I just love it, and I always think it's right around the corner. Now, it was not shortly after this that Antifa happened, BLM, all the riots, even Democrats like Maxine Waters calling for violence, AOC, people being bailed out, really bad people being put on the streets that ended up killing people. Wow, they put people back on the streets. They bailed them out. They thought, oh, this is a good social justice thing they're doing. And they went out and committed even more crimes, hurt more people. I did some more journaling, okay? So now as I create this page on February 26, 21, terrible darkness did indeed come from more riots, encouraged and funded by leading Democrat politicians, nationwide fraud, and all kinds of, I can't talk about it, you can look at it on the webpage. Nationwide fraud that was exposed by hundreds of forensic experts, summarily dismissed and canceled, contestations by states, all kinds of stuff, man, just lines and lines of stuff going on. The most executive orders ever issued, one branch of government instead of three co-equal branches. How much worse can get? No taxation without representation. They're going to raise everybody's taxes radically. They're saying they're not, but Congressional Budget Office says otherwise. The Congressional Budget Office, says otherwise. Unbelievable. Many of which are going right after. There's a lot of persecution going right after. They're going right after Christians. They're persecuting Christians, even though the Supreme Court has said, you can't do that. They're doing it anyway. They're going against biblical morality. Biden said it would be a dark winter, and they're doing everything in their power to make it so. More than a dark winter, it's a dark year. And they're going to go for 2 years, because it's clear they are being dictated to by Satan, who's the prince of darkness, the master hater of life and truth. The church divided did lead the fall. Now the nation will further reap what it has sown, because God will not be mocked. However, just as with every great revival in history, God will pour out a spirit when the suffering from Satan is the greatest, and the masses cry out for God's intervention. This is the way it is all through history. Study the history of revival. Especially when the church has been thoroughly weeded out from its faithless Christians. Duplicitous, you double-minded, James says. And the faithful remnant are pleading in unity for God's intervention. The church always led the nation's morality, first by losing its saltiness. And so their light becomes darkness, which makes the darkness so great, Jesus said. But also it leads society into great revivals, because they become salt and light again through the crucible of trials. By getting back to the only thing that ever changed anything, the church finally gets back to conversational prayer, posuke, and genuine worship by the Spirit and by the truth. Not rituals, by the Holy Spirit and the truth, who is Jesus. And it doesn't hurt to call evil, evil. Right now, even the church won't call evil, evil. They're afraid of being canceled. People leaving their church and not giving them money so they can afford their huge mortgages, their mansions. They're mansions. The churches are absolute mansions. Hurt to call evil, evil instead of trying to suck up to the world for its monetary and popularity advantages. They want to be liked on Twitter. They want to be liked on Facebook. Wow, they've succumbed. They've conformed to the image of the world, right? They care about they want the world to love them. Jesus says, if you're of me, the world is going to hate you. If they love you, then you got a real problem. That means you are not me, because he says they will hate you because they hated me first. And, the church that is not following Jesus is loved by the world. They're not going to hate that church. They're going to love that church. And I was playing in a lot of these churches, and I had to leave. I was like, wow, this is just pagan. This is the world with a different title, a different address, a different title over the doorway, but it's still the world. It's religion. It's horrible. Anyway, I can't wait to hear from your experiences, what God has shown you, and you can put that down here. We need some Superman. We need some heroes, true Americans. I don't think most people even know history, even how America was formed. They could care less. They're like, oh, well, get rid of America. I don't care. So that's because they don't know the sacrifices that were made to get out from underneath tyranny of England. England just drove us into poverty. Taxation without representation. We're right back to that. Our representatives, the third branch of the government, Congress, they're not even allowed to debate or filibuster or discuss in meetings. They're said, here's the bill, sign it or you're against our party. It's party vote now. It's just party vote. Nobody can discuss anything. They're united in evil. Well, let's see what else we got. Let's go look at the next video. Bye-bye.